All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. on the 6th of October, 2021. And this is my trading strategy session. So, first thing we're looking at here is VYGR. There's pretty good news on this thing. VYGR Therapeutics signs license deal with Pfizer for tracer screening technology. Shares soar pre-bell. That's good. When a small cap can collaborate with a behemoth like Pfizer, it's going to be beneficial for the company. Now, if you're interested in investing in this company, I would wait until maybe 3 or 4 days pass. Once this thing's getting a bunch of attention today, and the price is moving up, and so it's only going to be a trade for today. But then after that, the price will settle down, and there will be an opportunity to invest in this thing if you're interested. But for today, don't buy today thinking that you're going to hold long term and have gotten in at a good price. It's possible. But I would rather, if I were investing in this, I would rather wait for the price to settle down, back into this sort of $2 range, than to buy at, say, I don't know, $3. There's not a big difference between $2.50 and $3. Like if you're buying 1,000 shares, it's not a huge difference. But I would still rather buy low, basically. Long story short. So this morning, it put in a high. Let's see, on the 10 minutes, a little bit easier to see here, this sort of pivot right here. So it opened here at 7 o'clock in the morning and ran up to $3.74. And this is a bit of a pivot here. You can see, it opened here, closed here, opened here, then closed there. So there's sort of this pivot at $3.74. And this morning it has come up and broken that morning pivot and almost, let's see if it back tested it. Almost back tested it, which actually this sort of dip and coming close to a back test and then moving away again is bullish. But the thing that I don't like about this stock is that it's going to be super crowded. It's got a low float here. The float, outstanding is 37 million, so it's not all that low. And then let me check the float. I think the float was, and the float is 25 million, almost 26 million shares. So, okay, it kind of makes a little bit more sense now with a float as big as it is. It sort of explains why the level 2 is so crowded. So I'm a bit late into the office this morning. You can see I took the image of this level 2 about 10 minutes ago. I've got an alarm here. We'll get back to that. And so you can see here the orders are stacked, 10,000, 6,000, 5,000, 5,000. And so it's a crowded trade. There are a lot of people who are going to, be trading this. And so the momentum moves won't be very clear. The price breaks and the push higher and so forth. So with this one, I imagine what's going to happen is that it's going to open. It might push higher at the open and then continue. I don't know, but I think the best strategy on this one is going to be buying the pullbacks, buying the dip. So after it makes a big run, it'll probably, my guess is, pull back. There'll be profit taking, and then sort of the long, slow strategy of buying a few shares at a time over the span of a half an hour or so until the next sort of rush of buying comes in. We'll have to see though. I don't like to trade momentum that way, because small caps like this, once they start to sag down, oftentimes they just continue to sag down. Looks like it's starting to bottom out, but then it just keeps going. So we'll just have to see. Right now, it's looking pretty bullish, though. That's for sure. And the level 2 is still super crowded. I'm seeing 15,000 on the bid at 390 and 19,000 on the ask at 397. So it's like, okay, If there, this is good news for the small company. I don't know, how great it's going to be for trading momentum. LMFA, this is the second leading gapper, or at least it was the second leading gapper. Now it's the third leading gapper after BUDX. BUDX only has 79 shares traded pre-market though. LMFA has 1.73 million shares traded. I don't really like the news on LMFA. We're going to launch a cryptocurrency mining business in 2022. Okay. Okay. From what I understand, crypto mining is it's a long game, and you really have to have been in it for a while to be profitable. Like to have sort of survived the Bitcoin move here from. There's Bitcoin. Let's go to the weekly real quick. The miners who survived. Here's Bitcoin's run to almost 20,000, just past 19,000. Yeah, here's its run back in 2017, and mining got really popular right in here. But it's my understanding that it's the miners who have survived this and are still operating who are the ones you want to look to. New miners, it's not really all that advantageous to be an investor in a new miner. Let's see. We've got LMFA, second leading gapper. I don't know. Maybe it'll give a trade. Maybe a trade will show up on it. We'll have to see. Tesla. So Tesla made a high on some news that it had delivered, and I don't remember the article. Let's see if it's up front here real quick. There was something about Tesla had delivered more vehicles, actually delivered, not just taking more orders, but actually delivered more vehicles than forecast. And so it got a pretty good run up. It's starting to pull back. I have a price for just a trade at 760.87. So if it comes into that price territory today, I'll probably get in for just a few shares, maybe 50 shares total. We'll have to see how it behaves when it gets to that level and where the metrics are and so forth. NVAX was a profitable short for me. I don't really like to go short, but I shorted NVAX at 185 back here on the 1st of October, and then covered my short position at 165, only on 20 shares. But it was nice. I got $20 a share on 20 shares, so it was a $400 profitable trade. Looking for NVAX here. It looks like it's attempting to sag down. A break below 154.28 will take this back to its gap. Or I think price momentum will go back to its gap here on this day. So let's see. So the actual gap is right here at 132. No, that's 134. But sort of the top of this area is right there at 150. Yeah, 150 and some change. There are a lot of lines here, so it's going to be a little bit confusing. But basically, a dip below this low that was made on the 1st will set up the stock to move down to this 150 zone right here. Actually, it's right at 150. And then if it continues to break down below 150, then 134 is the next stop. I don't know if it's going to do all that in one day, but it's bearish. And another reason to be bearish on this is if you look at this, the NVAX is a high flyer, but here it is on the 9th of December 2020, and it was going for $5 a share. And as we got into the pandemic sort of zone right in here, it was only going for $5 a share, and then the sort of pandemic trade kicked off, and it started going into, you know, the high single digits, $7, $8, $9, 6, 7, you know, so on and so on, and then it started breaking into the, you know, low two digits, you know, 11, 14, 13, so on. So it's only been about a year and a half, and this stock has gone from, let's see, we'll call it $5 to a high of $331. Let's do some quick math there on this. So 3, we'll call it 330 divided by 5. That's a times 100, right? Yeah, times 100. That is a 6,600% increase in price. So it's in it's in the nosebleeds. It was a trade for the shutdown, so on and so on. So now that things are starting to settle down with Delta numbers and blah blah blah, there are other treatments that aren't you know, a vaccine. Blah 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 blah. I'm not endorsing, you know, before YouTube shuts down this live stream. You know, I'm not endorsing or making any recommendation. You know, consult with your doctor about what's right for you. You know, so on and so on. But basically, this thing's losing steam because COVID-19 is basically starting to wane, I guess you could say. I don't know. I hope I don't get in trouble with YouTube for that. Anyway, so then mRNA is, you know, kind of the same thing here. mRNA, let's see, pre-pandemic here, it was going for about $20 a share, and then it went to a high of 500 here. It looks like something like that, nearly 500, maybe. I don't know, close to $500. And so now it's pulling back from, you know, extremely high levels, you know, from $20 to $500. It's a 2,500% increase. So they're looking like relatively safe shorts to me. And then POHY here is going to open up. If it opened up right now, it would open up below these two levels. This is where I bought before. I have levels at 949 and 966, and this thing just seems to want to, like, you know, have these kind of drop downs here, but I think they're buyable. On the last dip down here below these prices, I bought right here. I only bought 200 shares. I bought the 200 shares on the same day. I think I bought the open, and then I bought near the close or something, and it's done a pretty good job of catching some steam. The overall trend here isn't really all that pretty, actually, on this stock. It's only that the reason that I'm investing in Porsche is because the economic outlook for Germany is very positive. But really, this isn't a pretty chart, you know. There is this downward wedge, and oftentimes when these things resolve themselves, they resolve themselves to the downside. So, you know, I could be a hodler here. Let's see, March 2020, I went as low as $3.30. And, you know, so I'll be averaging into a small position here on POAHY. For the move back up. I believe it'll find support in this area and continue moving because Germany's economy is going to be doing well. All right, so those are the stocks that I haven't watched today. The large cap scanner is almost nearly completely red. Yeah, actually, there was one green stock when I came in this morning on the large cap scanner, but now it's gone. And so everything is red on the large cap scanner this morning. And then the small cap scanner, there's really maybe two stocks that are really look slightly interesting. VYGR has actually gone up to $4 a share here. It shows on the scanner. It's not bad. It broke its pre-market high there and continued on. Interesting. Okay. The broader market, here we have the SPY. Okay, so the SPY's picked up just a tad since I came into the office. If it opened up right now, it opened up 0.76% lower than the previous close. When I first got into the office, I was listening to Bloomberg Radio on the way in. It was down over 1%. The SPY was down over 1% this morning in the pre-market. Right now, it looks like it's trying to recover. We'll have to see what's going on. There's actually some real fear out there that the debt limit will not be increased by October 18th, and that we will default on our payments. I think that's just crazy. I don't know, if there are some people in Congress who hate the United States. I mean, there are people, who want to see our economic system collapse because they think they have a better way of doing things than the free market economy, which is really sad that we have representatives like that in our government who are willing to sacrifice everything that's been built over the past 200 years in order to push whatever socialist or communist, those are forms of government. Those aren't economic models. Socialism and communism are totalitarian forms of government where, other people think they know what's best for you, where the free market economy that's gotten us, to the number one position in the world with 5% of the 5% of the world's population, has innovated and created incredible amounts of technology and value in the world based on the system of freedom. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who think they know best on how to run an economy and how people, individuals should live their lives. And so, they're putting the debt limit as, a lever, and they're, going to brinksmanship, I guess you could call it, to try and get what they want, which is an administrative state that would be a Goliath, and it would be a yoke around the neck of every freedom-loving American. So there are people who are on Wall Street who are nervous right now about a faction in the government, a growing faction in the government, who's willing to take us over the edge and destroy our country, essentially, over their ideology. So, okay, enough about that. So the SPY has some work to do. There's some jitters over, how things are going to work out with this debt limit and then the budget infrastructure bill. So the VIX, interesting here. There's this little trend line that I put from the 20th of September to the 1st of October. And this morning, the VIX popped up above that. But there's a sort of shadow right there, topping tail candle here. The VIX is coming back down. Yesterday, it closed below this 22 level, back into the gap. And it would have been really nice. It actually dipped below 21. It would have been really nice if the VIX had closed below 21, but there were some end-of-day jitters at the close yesterday. Let's look at the 10-minute. You can see here this kind of sell-off here in the last 40 minutes of the day really accelerated. It did manage to close above 433 yesterday, which is the previous day's open. You like to see higher lows and higher highs and so forth, but it just couldn't hold in the overnight. So whatever this momentum was right here, kind of translated into the morning session. So we're opening lower. Where things go from here, I have no idea. It's anybody's call. So we'll just have to see how things work out. I think it's going to be a good opportunity to start buying some things, but if it turns out that we default on debt, if we default on bond payments, look out below for the markets. I have a gap here on the SPY between 403 and 400, and that would be the first. If we default on our debt payments, that would be the first place I would look to start taking profits on a move down, and it would happen extremely quickly. Okay. So that's pretty much going to be it. There are a couple of other things that I'm watching. I think right now is a good time to buy the dips on energy, and so B&O here, it's down considerably, down 1.37% right here. 2198 was a level of resistance. It hasn't touched 2198 yet, but I think it's just a matter of time until it tests and breaks through there. I managed to buy, I think it's just 2 contracts on B&O right here on this pullback, and so I'll be using today and tomorrow's. If there's going to be a tomorrow pullback in energy, I'll be using it to buy more energy. All right, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at today's recap. I am out.